Okay, what up ladies and gents? I know I was supposed to produce the weapon guide today, but I actually just beat the Swamp Walker quite handily. So I decided to produce the Swamp Walker guide first, and the weapon guide will be coming tomorrow. The reason for this is that since I already beat it now, and I can show you my equipment straight away, and I'm going to probably advance past this, I didn't want to come back and film it and then have the wrong equipment and all that kind of stuff. So I've got the fight demonstration all set up. I'm going to go into the build video now, and I hope you guys will enjoy this. All right, so if anyone is having trouble with Swamp Walker, which realistically you probably shouldn't because he's a very simple boss, he's just tanky. So in actuality, I find him a lot easier than Pyro. But anyway, if anyone's having trouble with the Swamp Walker, this guide is for you. All right, now before we get into things, remember, if you haven't already registered as my supporter, please consider registering as one of my supporters. All you got to do is hit the link in the description. It's free to register. It takes less than 2 minutes, and you'd be helping me out. I'm aiming for the top 5 creators so that I can start petitioning Nexon and saying, hey, I've got some influence. Can we change the paint system? Because I hate the paint system. Okay? Thank you all very much. Let's get into the build. Now, before we start by showing you what I've built, let me start by showing the stats of the Swamp Walker. I didn't do this with Pyro because I totally forgot, but either way, with Swamp Walker, it's nothing special. You can literally see it at this opening page, but the Swamp Walker is weak to burst type damage, and its attack attribute is toxic. Its attribute resistance is that it is very weak against lightning and very strong against toxic, right? And you're going to need about 2,600 recommended toxic resistance, which we will have in this build. However, defense is a bigger priority. Now, let's talk about how you're going to build all of this into your character. Okay, starting first and foremost, I'm going to start by showing you, oops, sorry, let me put on the old bit that I had before. Okay, there we are. So what I'm going to show you is that previously what we had was for the reactor, I brought Freyna along for the toxic resistance, all right, so I'm using a toxic mechanics reactor for her as well. The skill power is not really so important because you won't be using a lot of it. I mean, you're not going to do all that much damage. I did test out her ult. It still does some damage, but you'd actually do more damage with your gun. It's just that if you're in a situation where you really need ammo, you can pop Freyna's ult and still use that. Plus, she survives pretty well against this guy. So yeah, I use Freyna for the clear, and you'll see that in the fight demonstration. Now, for the external components, pretty much defense, 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 defense. None of this will ever change, all right? In terms of your Descendant modules, okay, this is where it's going to get interesting, so I need you to pay attention here. This is where the real building happens, okay? First and foremost, you need to increase your defense. Freyna has the rutile slot, which means that your increased defense will be at half the cost, so you can slot in a lot more onto Freyna, right? Toxic antibody happens to be a rutile slot as well, which is really great because you can level it up as much as you want. I didn't have the Kyber at the time that I fought, so I only had it at 2,600 toxin resistance. I keep saying toxic resistance, but you know what? Oh, it is toxin resistance. Hey, I thought I read that wrong. Anyway, with the 2,600 toxin resistance, it's just enough. All right, that's the recommended amount. And I did not notice a drastic difference, even if I upped it any higher than this. So just this much is enough. All right. Now, HP collector is still going to be important here. Why? Because you already have it for Pyro. You may as well use it here as well. It'll help you survive a little bit when you're killing his roly-polies. All right. In terms of your armor, you want to have Spear and Shield and Agony. Both of these can add an extra 32% defense, even if you've maxed out your increased defense, and of course, later on you can level up Spear and Shield. But the additional defense that you get will basically help you survive all sorts of situations, and it's really, really good. So there's no reason not to have this, yeah? After that, what you will need is to get increased hit points and Stim Accelerant. Stim Accelerant will reduce your MP by 4%, but it will give you 23% extra max hit points. Here, you've got another 69.9% max hit points, so you've got a lot of hit points to play around with. All of this factors into the fact that HP Collector will heal you for 9% every time you're killing a roly-poly, and when you're picking up the drops, you're going to heal for more. The last thing that I have is weighing the scales. However, this is to replace, you can use either this, weighing the scales, or you can increase your shields by the normal increased shield gen. It's really up to you what you want to do, all right? I leave that decision to you. You don't really need weighing the scales. I just had it in the build before, and I passed it with this in my build because I was too lazy to change it. So this is what I was using at the time that I cleared it, but you can actually put in increased shields and you'd still be totally fine. So you could do something like that. Because lesser skill cost is not going to benefit you here, since Freyna's toxic, the boss is toxic. Like, you're not going to do any additional damage with skills. All right. So that about covers it for your modules. Basically, as you can see, what you want is to maximize hit points and to increase your defense as much as possible. And more or less, that's all I used. That's all I used to clear him. And he is easy peasy. All right. Okay. Now for the weapons. For the weapons, and again, I'm so sorry, the weapons guide will be coming tomorrow so that you can understand how to build weapons outside of these Void Intercept battles. But here's what I've got. For my primary weapon, I use the Viper Tactical Rifle. For this one, I built the Rifling Reinforcement and Electric Enhancement. Now, Electric Enhancement, you want at minimum rank 8. I actually ran out of Kyber at the time that I was going to do Swamp Walker, and quite frankly, you should actually have this at 9 or 10. 9 is most likely ideal because you run out of mod capacity if you try to go for 10, but 9 is good enough, all right? And it will really, really help you out if you had that, because it just transfers so much extra power into electric damage, which again benefits you because you're absolutely going to shatter his defenses, all right? Weak point detection, weak point sight, sharpshooter, and deadeye. Why? More accuracy is good. But if you find that you don't need this, you can replace this with Insight Stabilizer or something like that, because recoil can be a bit of an issue, but I find that on the Void Intercept battles, I don't really care about recoil very much. I care about accurately hitting the parts. So I always go for Deadeye. All right. So this will be your setup for your Viper Tactical Rifle, but the main thing is your Electric Enhancement. Now for the Silly Weeper, all right, this is one of the best scout rifles in the game. Bring this here. All right. Once again, Electric Enhancement, Rifling Reinforcement, weak point sight, antimatter rounds. These are crucial, all right, because these are all ways to improve your damage. And the last one I actually put in Hawkeye just for the accuracy, but it's mostly because I was firing at him from the hip, which you actually see during the fight. And this helps a little bit with that. But if you don't want this, I would really recommend getting your electrical enhancement all the way to 10. It's up to you. All right, you can drop the 2 points and just have a normal Hawkeye or one of the other accuracy increases or reduce recoil. It's really up to you what you want. But for me, Hawkeye rank 2 did well enough, so I just used this. All right, so this was my setup. Again, electric enhancement is the key. Try to have it at least rank 9, but rank 8 is also okay. And last but not least, the heavy weapon. Same principle, adjust as needed. But you really want as much weak point damage as possible, as much firearm damage as possible, and electric enhancement. Here, because it's the heavy weapon, you don't need a lot of it. Rank 5 or 6 is good enough, and you will still be dishing out very respectable damage. I ran out of Kyber, but you can actually push this all the way up to 8 as well if you want, and you will absolutely shred this guy. Okay, now that you understand the weapons, now that you understand the Descendant build, a little bit of a summary before we go on to the fight scene. Number 1, you're going to need defense on all your external components. You should know this by now. You're also going to need hit points wherever you can. Okay? Good. For your Descendant itself, focus on defense, then get as much hit points as you can. These two things. After that, you have your toxic resistance. All right? 2,600 is minimum. The rest is gravy. The rest you can put whatever you want. Shields, all the rest, up to you. Okay? For your weapons, rifling reinforcement, chill enhancement, Rank 8 is minimum. Rank 9 is ideal. Sorry, not chill enhancement. Oh, Lord. Electric enhancement. Okay? Electric enhancement, rank 8 minimum. Rank 9 is the ideal. All right? And that is it. That is all you need to do. The rest is gravy. Okay? Apply that to all the weapons. Apply that to your Descendants. Apply that to your external components. Okay. Now, let's get into the fight. The fight I did solo again because there wasn't really an option at the time. And plus, I wanted to see how much punishment I could take. Quite frankly, the solo fight went well, but I finished like close to the timer because I was a bit slow on dealing with his immune phase. So depending on how fast you deal with that, you'll have a lot of time left over at the end, or you'll have very little time left over at the end. Again, it's up to your movement, you know, how you overcome, you know, what this guy's got, and how well you dodge its attacks. If you dodge its attacks well, you'll probably end with a lot of time to spare. But anyway, enjoy the fight. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to register as a supporter, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, ladies and gents, I'm trying to do the free-to-play version of the Swamp Walker. Here's the fight scene. All right, you're probably gonna hear me a lot more be more enthusiastic on the build video part. But I've got my friends in the background. I'm doing this because I want to make sure that this is accessible for everybody. So I'm going in now, and I cleared it on stream with my Ajax, but that's not really fair. So I'm gonna do it now with Freyna. And my friends, you might hear them die a lot to parkour and stuff because they're doing that in the background.
You're by a lot in general.
Yeah. Oh, but don't worry, they won't hear it too much. So just as long as you guys aren't annoyed with my explanations. So okay, here we got the Grave Walker. He's also known as the land crab of annoyingness. When you're facing the land crab, what you want to do is avoid his missiles mostly. Dodge roll backward as much as you can. If you get into the drink, then start moving around. Alright. When he does that, he doesn't actually do damage. He's just summoning his minions. So take that opportunity to get around the map and across. You need space for this guy. Alright, go for shoulders if you can. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Shoulders are generally easiest. Yep. So the Silly Weeper works extremely well here.
I love the name Silly Weaver, don't you, Arcane?
What?
Don't worry,
Okay,
BBS.
yeah.
Nobody's paying attention.
Ah! Poor BBS.
It's because they're all trying not to die to parkour. Meanwhile, I'm trying not to die to this land crab. But anyway, I'm just happy you guys are minding your language, so this won't be on a YouTube video. That's always nice, ain't it? Ain't it, hey? Oh my god, okay, so try to avoid getting bombed like that. But for the most part, all you gotta do is run and shoot. Shoot and run, you know? The Swamp Walker is not a complex beast, but he does have a lot of gun. His main strength is not his toxin, it's gun. Big boomba gun. Alright, and you'll need to search for the impact ammo, which is the green colored ammo, alright? When you're using your tac rifle for this fight, you want to just aim for the shoulder mostly. Again, if you get in the drink, don't panic too much, but do go back and look for any ammo drops, because you're going to need them pretty desperately, I'm not going to lie about that. And if you get really desperate, then use Freyna's ult. But the big problem with Land Crab is this. When it gets into this phase, you don't have a choice. He's gonna bombard you. He's gonna shoot his big boomba cannon at you. Alright, those are actually shotgun shots. Sorry, what about the Pyromaniac?
You
Lol.
have to run, yeah, run. And they'll change direction, so keep watching.
Okay,
Wait.
I remember this.
Who's talking about the Pyromaniac? Is that Phil?
You pop.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Truffles. Okay. No, I'm just filming the Swamp Walker fight. This I was like, huh? And anyway, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be in camp?
No, I'm in temporarily because I'm changing camps. I am going back to Jump Bomb.
Oh, I see. Okay, enjoy.
Unfortunately from my side, I'm booking tonight and not tomorrow. Yay!
That's alright. Listen, Kaz is ditching work, so it's all good. Ooh!
Relax tonight. I thought I could relax tonight, but no.
I can
Really?
relax after work
Oh.
tonight.
Now, the only big problem with the Swamp Walker is this phase, because you have to get each and every one of these, and yeah, even with Silly Weeper, they take quite a few shots, so much as I would like to grab them, Okay, now it's back to its normal phase and you gotta run. Alright, so run. Ouch. If you die once, it's okay. But yeah, the pain is real.
Gotta go clean my Freyna.
Okay, you do that. Alright, even if you die once, it's not too bad. I mean, when you're free to play and like you've got relatively under-leveled gear, it can be a bit of a hard sell, but that's okay. If I can do it, you can do it. And of course, like I said, just follow the build and you'll be good to go. Now this part I like. So I'm gonna lead him away from the edges. Whew, just dodge the shotguns and you'll be all good. You got 4 minutes left, right? Again, you need space, so keep backing up. And look, the red water hurts, but it's better than him being in the open, so. Be careful when his second enrage phase goes in. The enrage phases are the things you have to worry about most with Swamp Walker. Okay, there we go. I'm continuously just going for ammo pickups as I travel. So there you go. Ah, finally. That's the ammo type I was looking for. Okay, you got 2 minutes left, but you need to clear his legs, right? Alright, this is where you gotta be intelligent. Take out the roly-polies first. Okay, this is the crunch time. Take care of the bits that you... Ooh, bombarded. If you get bombarded, that's okay, but just don't take the big shotgun shot. Use that, rush in. Cross the water if you have to. Use some cover. If you can get him to do that, then you're gold. Swap to your big gun. Look at how much of your hit points are chunking out. This is where you use your heavy. All right, chunk off all his hit points. You've got 1 minute left. You've also got 1 death remaining, so use it well. This is where, like, I won't even bother ADSing. I'll just, That's it, 40 seconds.
Oh, I got stuck on the down.
There you go. Swamp Walker down. Okay. This is how you can beat him. Again, totally F2P with gear that is below his level. Not hard. Well, I say that, but it might take you a couple of tries. Depending on how...
No. It's off the side.
I love my teammates in the background. It's great. But yeah, depending on how hard you actually try and go. Oh, hey. Got a Lepic Spiral Catalyst. Alright, ladies and gents. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And last but not least, register your support if you haven't already. Okay? Thank you guys very much. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.